Moving on to Group C, where we have the favourites Spain, Italy, Croatia and Ireland. Now let's begin with Spain. Looking through their squad is enough to just make you drool. And this quality that is seen throughout the entire squad and also onto the bench is the same core quality which has led Spain to win the World Cup in South Africa and the previous Euros, and this is why they are favourites to make it 3 major tournaments in a row and become the first team to ever do so. However, there are notable absences from those campaigns. One is the charismatic figure at centre-back, Carlos Puyol, who plays a vital role in the dressing room, inspiring players and gives Spain that extra defensive bite needed at such tournaments. And also David Villa, who has scored many of the very important goals for Spain in the past few years and will be increasingly missed if you count Fernando Torres, although he is in the squad, as also being absent, because it has to be said the season of Fernando Torres has been awful. Although at the end of the season he showed a little bit of that magic that gave him the price tag of £50 million. Now I've heard many pundits perhaps overstating the absences of Puyol and Villa and Torres not being in form and saying it's not the same Spain, and also suggesting where the goals are going to come from. Well, let me just point you to their midfield. Andres Iniesta, Xavi Hernandez, Cesc Fabregas, Joan Mata, Xabi Alonso, Sergio Busquets, Santi Cazorla, David Silva and Jesus Navas. I wonder where the goals are going to come from. And also, in terms of the striker position, we have Alvaro Negredo, who's in brilliant form, and in even better form, Fernando Llorente, who has been in unbelievable form for Athletic Bilbao. And I believe he will be a starter for Spain at the Euro 2012. Although I do believe Spain might find it difficult to break down well-organised teams and teams who decide to park the bus, as it were. And we've seen this at club level when teams decide to sit back and allow Barcelona to attack and frustrate them, and waiting for that counter-attack or that free kick to score that one goal, and then they go back to defending again. And this might be Spain's downfall in this Euro 2012. And next, Italy, who are looking very strong indeed and who I believe may be the dark horse in this competition. The team looks likely to be based on a strong wall of defence from a Juventus team who went undefeated in the league, with the gladiator Giorgio Chiellini, Andrea Bazzagli and Leonardo Bonucci. And there are some talks of Italy perhaps implementing a 3-man defence, which has seen much success in the Italian league this season. Also from the brilliant Juventus, just in front of the defence will be the engine room, with Andrea Pirlo and Claudio Marchisio, and not forgetting Daniele De Rossi of Roma. But I believe that Italy are actually strongest going forward, and I'd like to point your attention to their display against Spain when they won 2-1, and they should have won by many, many more goals. In that game you can see how aggressively they attack with numbers, and with a duo like Di Natale and Antonio Cassano, who I might add is a brilliant inclusion in the team, and it's really lovely to see how a player has recovered from such a serious condition. I can't see how any defence at Euro 2012 can cope with such an attack. And we also have Mario Balotelli, who has fantastic quality and might be a very dangerous substitute coming on, as was seen when he made the difference when coming on for Manchester City in the last few minutes of the English Premier League, when Manchester United had the title in their grasps and Mario Balotelli made the difference, setting up Sergio Aguero for the goal. And Croatia, their obvious star man is the passing machine of Luka Modric in the centre, along with the informed striker of Nikica Jelavic, who was a fantastic addition at Everton Football Club. Also, it's worth noting that many of the players actually play week in, week out at Ukrainian clubs. so may help the entire team feel at home. When looking at their defence, it's an ageing defence and seems to be their weakest area, but Dejan Lovren, the 22-year-old at Lyon, will try and make an impression at this tournament. Croatia may play with a front three, which will probably be their most dangerous setup, with Jelavic down the middle and Olic and Eduardo coming off the wings. And now Ireland. Ireland is an extremely well-organised team set up by Giovanni Trapattoni. It's an understatement to say that Ireland are a team very difficult to break down and very hard to beat. They have just conceded 3 goals in their last 8 games. If Ireland are to succeed at these Euros, the way their defence will cope and how many mistakes they'll commit will be significant. The key men in this department will be Richard Dunne and John O'Shea as the most experienced members of the team, and also the motivation skills of Robbie Keane up front. If Ireland are able to keep a clean sheet against the teams they play in the group stage, this will always leave a chance for counter-attacks with wingers Damien Duff, McGeady and McLean. And also, for the first time in a few decades for Ireland, Ireland can say that they have attacking options up front, with vastly experienced Robbie Keane, along with Kevin Doyle, Jonathan Walters and Shane Long, and also Simon Cox. And I also believe that goalkeeper Shay Given might be a little bit busy for Ireland, but may play a key role in terms of their success. In conclusion, for Group C, I believe Italy are capable of topping this group. However, they are historically slow starters in major competitions, and Spain should qualify alongside them. Now moving on to Group D, and we have the mighty England, co-hosts Ukraine, Sweden and France. Now England, over the past couple of decades, have vastly underperformed. Well, that's how it is portrayed in the media. Many pundits have said that this media pressure of high expectation puts the players under too much pressure and thus results in poor performance during the tournament. However, this time, in the lead up to Euro 2012, generally the media does not expect much from England this time. This is partly due to a new manager coming in quite late before the tournament, a team that begins its first 2 games without their best player, Wayne Rooney, and with players being ruled out through injury like Gareth Barry, Frank Lampard and now most recently Gary Cahill. Looking at Roy Hodgson's selection, it seems to be quite a decent mix between experience and fresh talent. For example, the old guard like John Terry, Ashley Cole, Steven Gerrard are nicely complemented with the likes of Theo Walcott, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain and Danny Welbeck. And perhaps with the media laying off with the pressure, England might actually relax and just play their football, and they could potentially beat any team in the tournament if they play well. And now, England's rivals in the group, France. Now France on paper are one of the strongest squads. They've got an engine of Villa, Diarra and Marvin Matan who can pass all day, with attacking options of Samir Nasri, Ben Arfa, Valbuena and Franck Ribéry, who's now reaching his previous excellent form for Bayern Munich. And they've also got the target men, Karim Benzema and Olivier Giroud, and this makes for a very dangerous offensive line indeed. But at the back, although still decent, they will dearly miss both Bakary Sagna at right back and Eric Abidal at left back. And this perhaps was seen in their friendly game against Iceland, where both the goals they conceded, where Iceland exposed the space that was left in behind the back four. So, like the Netherlands, they might score a good few goals, but will concede some too. Now, co-hosts Ukraine. Like Russia, quite a mysterious team as most of their players play in their domestic league in Ukraine. But what is very apparent is that they are a very well drilled team and very well prepared and are playing in front of their home crowd. Their 2 main threats are Anatoly Timoshchuk of Bayern Munich, who can suppress the opposing attacking midfielders, and veteran Andrei Shevchenko, who is looking to close his career with a big performance. Now Sweden, also known as Zlatan's army, well, that is a bit unfair because there are other key players to Sweden than just the magnificent Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who can single-handedly cause damage in a blink of an eye. Sweden also has Ola Toivonen of PSV, Sebastian Larsson, who has a brilliant right boot on him, and the in-demand midfield maestro Rasmus Elm. Their defence, like many other teams that I've mentioned in the Euros, is ageing, and I feel two holding midfielders are necessary to protect them, one of which will be the veteran Kim Kullström of Lyon. Sweden performed very well in their qualifying campaign and will be looking to upset the two main favourites in this group, England and France. But overall, I feel that England should be capable of winning the group, with France coming second, but Sweden might once again break French hearts. So that wraps it up. But finally, if I am to pick a team to win the Euro 2012 Championships, I will be going with the dark horse of the competition, Italy. I happened to be in Rome on the night of the final, so it would be a fantastic occasion to experience the atmosphere in Rome on that special night. But I do truly believe they have a great chance of winning, and I urge you to watch highlights of them against Spain because their attack looked unplayable and they had an unbelievably solid defence. They are a team full of leaders and winners that have done it before, and with Gigi Buffon in goal and Di Natale and Cassano terrorising defenders up front, giving them nightmares, with the engine of Andrea Pirlo, Daniele De Rossi in the middle, I believe they have every chance of lifting the cup in Kiev on the 1st of July.